Hello, I'm Kevin Gardner, and welcome to Savor Indiana. Today, with our increased use of technology, it becomes more and more important to find meaningful ways to connect with nature and to find time to just be still. This week, we're visiting Pulaski County in northwestern Indiana, a natural destination to get away from it all. Named for Casimir Pulaski, a Polish nobleman who fought for his homeland and, beside George Washington, for the right to live in a free country, this county was established in 1839. If Pulaski's nature reflects the spirit of this community, then the lifeblood of this county is the beautiful Tippecanoe River. Due to the clarity of the river, the overall variety of species, birds, fish, grasses, and wildlife is significant. The river that initially drew the Potawatomi Indians, trappers, and hunters to the area now attracts outdoor enthusiasts in droves. Dan Dalzell is a fan.
Oh, it's a gem. It's so quiet and pristine that just looking at it, you would never think that it's just a short drive from downtown Chicago or Indianapolis. We're seeing a migration from the Northwest. The folks from that area crave this lifestyle. And our housing market is so affordable that many people are purchasing vacation, weekend, or retirement homes in this area.
A major draw to the area is the Tippecanoe River State Park, about 4 miles north of Winnemac and on US 35, which includes a waterfowl area. This park is considered to be one of the quietest in Indiana's system and a great place to ditch your electronics, being right on the border of the Eastern and Central time zones. Even the lack of a major superhighway through the area protects and encourages the native flora and fauna. The park has 112 electric campsites with 4 handicap accessible and 56 primitive sites in the Horseman's Campground. 12 cabins without plumbing also are available for those who prefer camping with a roof over their heads, and most of the sites are shaded. The park was built in the 1930s as a National Park WPA project and turned over to the state of Indiana in 1943. It covers 2,785 acres with 8 miles of hiking trails, 14 miles of horse trails through various habitats, and 7 miles of water trails. Vernon Gillum, the property manager for the park, has been involved in conservation efforts, both structurally, as in the preservation of buildings and the historic fire tower, and in species preservation throughout the park.
Yes, our property is one of the most ecologically significant properties in the entire state. Because of its large amount of undisturbed acreage, it sets it off from most of northern Indiana and does attract a large variety of bird species, including waterfowl during the migratory season.
A fun way to view this natural wonderland is by boat. The state park and Indiana's Department of Natural Resources publishes a guide to Tippecanoe River access points. Canoe rental is available in nearby Winnemac. With canoes, kayaks, and tubes for hire, Connie Scott of Riverside Rentals knows the river well.
There are 10 river access points in Pulaski County, so it's easy to plan your trip to suit your time and abilities. Most of the routes can be enjoyed without portage. Many people like to make a stop at the Winnemac Town Park due to its easy access to restaurants and convenience stores and to visit our signature Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Suspension Bridge.
For those who prefer less primitive hiking and biking trails, the Panhandle Pathway offers 21 miles of newly paved rail trail over and by the river from the south side of Winnemac to the town of Kenneth in Cass County. Finally, for those with a need for speed, the Kirsting Cycle Center and Museum near North Judson is a must-see. The museum contains 10,000 square feet of motorcycle memorabilia and 28,000 square feet of accessories. No matter what gets you out and moving, you'll find a wide variety of options in Pulaski County. For more information, visit SavorIndiana.com. By now you may be thinking that Pulaski County is a great place to clear your head and maybe even clean your plate. This area's bounty is so plentiful that it's easy to think of it as a land flowing with milk and honey. In 1946, Irving Berlin wrote a song called "Doin' What Comes Naturally" for his musical Annie Get Your Gun. While this segment is not about the birds and bees, in Pulaski County, two families are working to help bees and cows in doing what comes naturally. For example, the Apple Blossom Honey Farm got its start after a catastrophic event. Doug Hoffman's family had owned this apple orchard since 1996, but in 2006, their trees bore no fruit. The cause? A classic hive collapse. In order to solve the orchard's dilemma, Doug started studying bees and using his construction background in building hives. The result is the Apple Blossom Honey Farm, which today is a major supplier of bees and all their accompanying provisions. Bee colonies are very well ordered. The hive is a matriarchal society, and the bees work as a team. Doug, the queen lays the eggs. Who gathers the pollen?
The girls.
Who feeds the eggs?
The girls.
What do the boy bees do?
They mate with the queen and then die. That's why it's such an orderly society.
So the boy bees are kind of like boy toys, doing what comes naturally.
Right? Doing what comes naturally.
As people want to know more about where their food comes from and have begun using more natural sweeteners like honey, there is a worldwide bee shortage. The Hoffmans are a large supplier of mail-order bees. Doug and wife Carrie also rent hives for pollination of crops.
Whatever type of field we've pollinated, it carries a different flavor of honey. For example, we have lavender honey and blueberry honey.
So the farmers get the crops and you get the honey.
It's a sweet deal.
Doug and Carrie's bee products are used in some surprising ways, like the Evil Czech Brewery's Gypsy beer out of Culver, Indiana. That'll give you a buzz. Moving along to another matriarchal society, the Jones family has found a great way to de-stress their cows in the Jones Robotic Dairy. Orville and Zetta Jones began the dairy in 1942. Pam, Sammy, and Josh Jones added Indiana's very first robotic milking system in 2003. This is a really self-sustaining operation. They grow the majority of their own feed for their herd of 130 primarily Holstein cows. Each cow eats about 100 pounds of feed and drinks about a bathtub full of water per day. The cow's waste is used as fertilizer for the corn, wheat, and alfalfa, which serves as the primary basis for the cow's professionally designed diet. The key to the dairy's robotic success is letting the cows think that this is pretty much their own idea. After a couple of days of being led through the process, the cows are free to eat, drink, be milked, and repose on their own private bed of sand at their leisure. Where can I get a job like that? The Jones family schedules tours by appointment, and you can really see the operation up close. The robot serves not only to milk the cows, but to provide information on each cow's health.
We average about 3 times a day milking, and by milking a cow 3 times a day over twice a day, we've increased 7 to 10 pounds of milk per cow per day.
The Jones have trained the cows to step into the robot and on the scale. Pam, I don't know any female that will willingly get on a scale. How did you get this to work?
Because we're just helping them do what comes naturally.
The cows are cleaned and brushed, and the laser helps the robot to attach automatically, milk, and detach automatically before applying an iodine teat dip. The robot detects any irregularities in the milk and alerts the Jones to discard it. Then the cow steps off the scale, heads for a drink of water, and a siesta in the shade. So, Sammy, for the girl cows, this is kind of just another day at the beach, but what about the boys?
Yeah, they're only good for one thing, doing what comes naturally.
For information on tours, hours, and natural products, visit our website at saverindiana.com.
Hi, I'm Laura Sheets, and I'm here with Nathan Orger. Nathan has invited me to visit one of the more unique shopping places here in Pulaski County, Linkster's Cigar Emporium. We were surprised to find a store like this in a relatively small community like Winnemac. The quality of their wares and services would not be out of place in Chicago or Indianapolis. But Winnemac?
Well, we're just a couple of miles south of the wonderful Tippecanoe River State Park, and we've got so many other great outdoor attractions. Couple that with the great quality of life generally, the lower cost of living, and we get a lot of people who come down from Chicagoland for vacations, second homes, retirement homes, and this is the sort of thing that appeals to them.
But a high-end cigar store?
Well, most of the hunters, the fishers, the trappers, they're guys. And in a small town like this, it takes somebody with a lot of passion and ambition to take the risks to do something like this. And in Pulaski County, we've been blessed to have a lot of people like that.
One such outsized character was Don Link Sr. Mr. Link wanted a place where he could go to enjoy a quality cigar and promote lively and far-ranging civic discussions. Linkster's is located just north of the Pulaski County Courthouse Square and a block from the town municipal buildings. Besides the appropriately humidified showroom, Linkster's staffs a comfortable sitting room that would not be out of place in a London club. But this facility welcomes women and persons of all political, religious, and ideological persuasions.
When you put some passionate people together in a smaller room, you get some interesting conversations. This has become an unofficial sort of town meeting hall.
So not your typical smoke-filled room.
Not your typical smoke-filled room.
Mary Sue, Donnie, and Leslie Link now own Linkster's. Ed Bunnell is the store manager. A Marine and former restaurateur, Ed takes special pride in the shop's extensive and varied inventory. Linkster's primarily stocks premium hand-rolled cigars.
People like different countries like Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican, so they've got their preferences. The hand-rolled cigars come from different regions. The climates are different, so everybody's got a different taste, and that's why they like the hand-rolled better. This is a hand-rolled cigar that is wrapped in its own leaf. This is the way they sell the product. Instead of cellophane in it, they will actually roll it in one of their own leaves as a selling point. We probably stock around 100 facings, and what a facing is an open box of the different types of cigars. They might be a Robusto size, a Toro size, a Churchill, but a facing is considered a box, so that's the different types.
I can see how you have active clientele during the warm winter months, but how do you stay busy all year round?
We have social events that we bring our clientele in. We bring a distributor in to show their product off, and it gives them a chance to try it. Plus we get a social gathering that everybody seems to enjoy. The lower cost of doing business in a place like Winnemac makes our product attractive to bigger city people.
Linkster's is a surprising social and shopping venue, but they found their niche and they bring a lot of tourist traffic to the area. For Savor Indiana, I'm Laura Sheets.
Pulaski County is known for its traditional outdoor activities like fishing and hunting. And you can certainly enjoy those activities at the Winnemac Fish and Wildlife Area. But if you're looking for a little more exercise with some thrills thrown in, Fort Knox Paintball is the place to explore. Fort Knox Paintball is the result of a lot of planning and hard work by Dave Wagner and his son Justin, a Purdue business grad. The Wagners purchased a defunct junkyard in 2004. They hauled out 15 dumpster loads, got rid of over 7,000 tires, and planned and built the 10 themed fields they have today as a father and son team. Dave's background as a construction engineer is evident as you look at the detail in the fields, water, and woods, with names like the Bridge on the River Kwai, POW Camp, the Bermuda Triangle, Area 51, the town of Deadwood, Warwick Castle, Boneyard, Powhatan, and the namesake Fort Knox. I asked Dave how paintball got started.
Paintball is a relatively new sport. Nelson Paint developed the first paint marker in the 1960s for the Forest Service to mark trees. The first paintball game took place in 1981 in New Hampshire.
Justin introduced me to the safety rules associated with the game, as well as the basic strategy. Don't get hit.
You'll need a semi-automatic marker and a paintball mask. We also recommend a chest protector for beginners, girls, and Kevin.
For those unfamiliar with the game, it's sort of like dodgeball. When you get hit with a paintball, you're out. The Wagners take safety very seriously and have a referee in attendance at every game. These games rotate among the different fields. Since this was a slow day, Dave, Justin, and Nathan Origer with the Pulaski County Community Development Commission offered to show me the ropes. But maybe I need to get into the mindset of it.
Our seaplane's been shot down in the Bermuda Triangle. We're taking fire. You go left, I'll go right.
Copy that.
I think I see him. I think I see him. Incoming. That was close. You go left, I'll go right, and we'll be in the clear.
I think I see how this works now. There are also plenty of picnic tables and shade for non-participants, or for those players just needing to catch their breath. The Wagners host major events 4 times a year, and you can rent an entire field for private parties or group outings, like bachelor parties, birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, company team building. Justin says they've never had a wedding out here, but it just might be the ideal setting. There's a very peaceful feel to Pulaski County. It's easy to step into the casual pace of the communities and allow it to soothe you, the colors and the rhythms blending together in an ebb and flow that leaves you feeling rested and renewed. One very hypnotic scene is repeated almost daily in a little shop on US 421 at Francisville. For 35 years, Gene Spiker has used the motion of the wheel, water, and the strength and surety of his hands to create useful vessels from what had been merely a piece of clay only moments before. Gene calls his enterprise stone wheel pottery, and he personally attends to every detail of production. With his hands molding the beginnings of a bowl, he welcomed us into his studio, which also serves as his retail facility.
I like making functional pottery the best, things that can be used for food or to be looked at. Bowls are an item that one of my favorite items because they can be used for so many different things, and you can make an assortment of sizes and colors. And I'm inspired by fall color this time of year. It's coming, so I layer different glazes over there, and it's how the kiln, the gas kiln, in the firing brings out a lot of the colors more than you would have in an electric kiln.
Gene prefers to produce useful art, sturdy bowls, mugs, pie plates, and the more whimsical mini colanders and jars that seem to ask to be a part of people's daily lives. He's constantly exploring the intricate and unending combinations of the colors of the glazes, the patterns, the shapes of the pots, and their decorative ribs. Some he hand paints with a swirling delicacy.
A lot of potters don't make plates. They're generally considered the potter's most difficult line because there's a lot of it. It's in the drying, they can crack easily, and in the firing, they have a tendency to sag. So the design's working pretty well to where they stack pretty well.
Each piece is unique, one of a kind. Visitors will find it relaxing and satisfying to venture into the mind and progression of this quiet artist. By the way, Gene has also achieved the rank of Master Gardener, and you can see his artistry and craftsmanship reflected in his garden. There's an acceptance and celebration of the wild and uncontrollable in his usage of various plants in his designs. And the constant striving for something new and evolving in his garden mirrors the ever-changing look of his pottery. Wild nature and man-made purity existing symbiotically. You can learn more about stone wheel pottery at SavorIndiana.com. On US 421, it's easy to go from the sublime to the perfectly decadent in just a few steps, because across the street from Stone Wheel Pottery is another iconic Pulaski County haunt, the patio. If the exterior reminds you of the classic burger and malt shops of the 50s and 60s, it should. The patio's been serving up first-class fast food since 1954. Proprietor Todd Goodman has owned the Francisville fixture since 1993. The secret to their success? They just keep evolving new food trends into old favorites. Now, Todd's a pretty humble gent, but pal Terry Stevens had no trouble setting me straight on the patio's strengths.
Well, Todd, of course, grew up in the community here, and so when he took over the patio about 20 years ago, I think everybody in town knew it was going to be a good place to go eat. And he uses his influence in the community to improve the youth programs. He's a strong supporter of our youth baseball, softball, any program you can think of. Todd supports a team, and so he gets involved in a lot of areas here in the community.
Terry also steered me toward the staples on the patio menu. Todd started me out with a frosty mug, no ice allowed, of their secret recipe home-brewed root beer, while Terry headed for the vanilla sweet tea. Both seemed pretty refreshing because they rely on the natural flavorings rather than sugar to carry the taste. Todd then proceeded to overwhelm us with appetizers. Yes, there absolutely were fried pickles and cheese curds involved.
Crispy and cheesy, just the way I like them.
But the fried nachos supreme had some of the sloppy Todd sauce that figures prominently in many of the patio's sandwich and salad combinations. Tastes spicy, but it won't set your mouth on fire. While those in diet denial will appreciate the menu's taco salad and chicken salad wraps, Todd thought we looked ravenous, so he brought out the big guns. And I do mean big. The Moink Burger, a quarter-pound cheeseburger and a quarter-pound pork burger with cheese. The triple quarter-pound cheeseburger, yes, do the math, that's 3/4 of a pound of beef. And the ultimate, the Demand Burger, quarter-pound cheeseburger, quarter-pound pork burger with cheese, shaved ham, and bacon.
Now this is where the pre-planning really pays off.
Because Todd is always looking for new ways to tempt you with various combinations of ice cream, frozen yogurt, soft serve, all kinds of toppings, and, well, cookies. Suffice it to say that when it comes to shakes and sundaes, Todd's got you covered. But Todd can't stop playing around and making all kinds of frozen treats, like chocolate chip cookies filled with vanilla ice cream, maybe dipped in chocolate, or ice cream flurry pies made with any flurry candy, or an ice cream pizza. You get the idea. Now, sadly, the patio closes from December through March. But the locals exercise a little pre-planning of their own and start stocking their freezers for holiday events. You can too. We've had a great time in Pulaski County, a very surprising place. There are so many ways to get out and get moving and really reconnect with nature, whether by kayak, on the Panhandle Pathway, or by motorcycle. The Tippecanoe River State Park is open year-round, and each season brings a special reason to visit. Jones Robotic Dairy really allows you to get up close and personal with a fascinating new style of dairying. And the Apple Blossom Honey Farm has all of the products needed to supply your honey fix naturally. Fort Knox Paintball really gets you in the game. What a blast for a special event. The Stone Wheel Pottery. So many truly artistic gifts for you and your friends. And the patio, as we've seen, way too many choices. Thanks again for joining us on our travels. Be sure to check out the SavorIndiana.com website for recipes, educational materials, and more information on our featured venues. So until next time, I'm Kevin Gardner. Cheers, Terry.